My friends, we have all heard about killer cheesecake. I know a place that serves that killer cheesecake. Best cheesecake ever, it is just a killer. Well, someone took the idea of killer cheesecake to its most literal level as a dominatrix tried to kill a friend with a poisoned cheesecake. The dominatrix is not thrilled at being criminally responsible for this and lashed out at the judge during the sentencing process, saying F you to the judge because the dominatrix didn't really believe in being held accountable for the poisoned cheesecake. Okay. The 47-year-old woman and Russian native who tried to kill a friend who apparently looked a lot like her with poisoned cheesecake lashed out at a state judge yelling F you after being sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison. Victoria over here was led out of the courtroom where she directed the vulgarity at the Queen's Supreme Court Justice. Now, this is Queens in New York, and Supreme Court here means trial court because New York is weird. They call their trial courts the Supreme Court. So it's not the Supreme Court, it's a trial court. Just moments before sentencing her to 21 years in state prison for the 2016 poisoning of the eyelash stylist, Olga. A jury found the dominatrix guilty of second-degree attempted murder, first-degree attempted assault, second-degree assault, unlawful imprisonment, and petite larceny for trying to kill her one-time friend in a scheme relating to identity theft, because the friend apparently looked a lot like her. And so she was trying to steal the person's identity because she looked a lot like her. And so apparently the identity theft scheme went wrong and resulted in poisoned cheesecake. Okay. According to the Queens, New York District Attorney, they went to the home under the guise of bringing her friend some cheesecake from a famous bakery. At that time, they resembled each other. Prosecutors said that they had drugged the pastry, then watched her friend lose consciousness, believing she'd never wake up. She testified during trial her last memory was seeing her walking around the room. The following day, she was discovered unconscious in bed with pills scattered around her body as though it were attempted suicide. So she tried to stage the scene to make it look like attempted suicide. But apparently they figured it out. Prosecutors then say that she returned home from the hospital. She discovered that her Ukrainian passport and U.S. authorization card for employment were missing, along with a gold ring, $4,000, and expensive purses. So she went to the hospital for the self-harm attempt. And when she came back, she couldn't help noticing that a lot of her ID and other valuables were missing. So, yeah, law enforcement agents with DHS investigated the scene, discovered a sedative that was in the cheesecake residue. The Drug Enforcement Administration tested pills and identified the same drug. So, yeah. Prior to sentencing, they read a victim impact statement saying she feared for her life. I would think so. She faced a maximum of 25 years, so pretty much getting all of it. A ruthless and calculated con artist is going to prison for a long time to try to murder her way to a personal profit and gain. Thankfully, the victim survived and were able to deliver justice. Fun. Thus, that brings us to the end of the story of the dominatrix, the Russian dominatrix, I suppose living up to all the stereotypes, who decided to just check every possible box. Russian, dominatrix, poison cheesecake, identity theft. Wow. So this New York story has apparently come to a New York end as the woman has been sentenced to 21 years in prison for the poison cheesecake relating to the identity theft. And that, for the moment, brings us to the end of discussion of this story.